Who would have thought that Prince Harry would turn out to be the cliche Nigerian prince? Yes, that is City in the background. You know she's my queen. You know that I do everything she asks. She's asleep or trying to. So yes, have you ever received those emails from a Nigerian prince that he has so much money, but he can't take the money right now because he needs X amount of money to unfreeze the funds to do these things? Well, this is literally what Harry and Meghan did on that Nigerian trip. Buckle up, because they cannot use any of the funds of the Archewell public charity foundation. It's called Archewell Foundation, but it is registered not as a non-profit organization, but as a public charity. There's a huge difference in those. A non-profit organization, they still have to pay taxes. A public charity doesn't. This is why handing the records is very important. And because a public charity does not pay taxes, they are charged a fee based upon how much they got that year. Please go check out today. I did the Royal News Flash and the Sean Atwood channel. And we show that table there of what it is that they need to do. We show the difference. It was posted there. I just don't want to bore you with this here. So you go to the Sean Atwood channel. I will leave the link of today's, because we discussed it. We talked about it, and I showed the difference between a public charity, which means that they get the funds solely from the public, and sometimes even the government. They don't pay taxes. And the renewal fee or the license fee, they have to do based on, and the reason why they have to submit the records is because it's not a set fee. It's based on how much they got that year. Apparently they get a percentage. If you don't make anything, then you have to fill out another form. So they have frozen. They cannot touch the money. They can't touch the bank accounts, nothing, until this is sorted out. But not only the check, because Meghan Markle is making it sound, it's just a check that got lost in the mail. FYI, the deadline was February 2023. We are now March 15th. I'm sorry if I'm 14th or 15th. And they still didn't know about it? And they haven't submitted the records because the government needs to see how much they made in order to charge them the license fee for renewal. So buckle up, because their piggy bank is frozen. And we all know that that's what basically Harry and Meghan used Archewell for, money. To be Nigerians in a bad way, because they're good Nigerians, but to be the cliche swindlers, Nigerian. Now, my amazing YouTube family, before we get into the video, please do this old lady a favor and subscribe. It's free. Like the videos, leave your comments. I do read the comments. And yes, if you want to be a member, it's like $2.99 a month, because I do lives and other stuff with members separately. If you want, no pressure, but subscribing is free. And also, please do me a massive solid and go follow me on Facebook. The link of my Facebook thing is at the bottom, because guys, we are facing censorship. And oddly enough, I don't know if it's because Facebook is competing with YouTube, there is less censorship there. Now, what I want to get with you guys here is the following. Also, I want to call a couple of things out. A few of you have come into my YouTube channel and said, go check out Dan Wooden. He posted this, that Harry and Meghan were also seeing people through a fence, just like Catherine and William. And go check out the video of the black lady from Nigeria, and go check out other information. I find that very insulting, because actually Andrew from POV, he did that video 2 days prior, Dan Wooden. I posted the lady, the black lady. I found her online. I posted it on my community page, the whole video. I did a community post, which is basically I share her whole video in my account on my community page. And I said, go watch her. Okay. And the same thing for Meghan Small, because he did use something about Meghan Small. The reason why I'm calling this out, guys, because I find that Dan Wooden did credit somebody else there in his video, but he didn't credit Andrew POV, he didn't credit Meghan Small, and he didn't credit me. Because, guys, we spend hours. You see this little video that I'm putting here for you guys? I spend at least 3 to 4 hours searching the internet for information. It took me almost 6 hours to find that Nigerian lady who gave that interview that I posted in the community page for you. And then Dan Wooden comes and reposts or gets a clip of that without saying, by the way, you know, this other YouTuber posted or shared this video online. Thanks for doing that. Or for Andrew POV for first posting it himself about that thing. Because I've looked everywhere and he's the only one who had posted it before. I think he's the only one other than Dan Wooden. So clearly he has his team searching. What they're doing is they're going to the Mexican community, getting our information that we put hours into researching and simply using it on their videos. I don't have a problem with that because that information is public, but we do spend time researching. We are not getting paid for it. I spend hours, guys, research literally, and not only we find those videos or that information, we have to listen to it to see if it applies, how relevant it is. So please think twice before you comment into my channel and say, go check out this video, and sometimes it's information I just covered myself on my video. And I covered it before they did. So clearly these are people who are not followers in my channel, nor Andrew POV's, nor Meghan Small, because they're only coming into my channel or Andrew's channel or Meghan Small's channel to advertise for Dan Wooden or other YouTubers. And I do not appreciate that. And I hope you can understand that. It's not shading Dan Wooden, maybe it's his research team, but they should at least credit the people who spend hours getting that stuff for you. So going back to this, Here, Meghan Markle is saying that 3 days prior, they got the delinquency letter on May 3rd. So when they went, this is prior to them leaving to Nigeria. So they knew that the public charity, because Archewell Foundation, the nonprofit organization, which is wrongly, and by the way, I'm calling out the Daily Mail too, because they called it a nonprofit organization. That's not it. Archewell Foundation is registered in the United States of America as a public charity, as a fully public charity. Okay, so they have the 501 tax exemption. Nonprofit organizations still get taxed and other rules apply. So Daily Mail, get your act together, because I don't understand the mainstream media, what they're doing. How can me, a 55-year-old woman in Nicaragua right now, I'm right now in Nicaragua with very limited access to internet because information varies from country to country. How can we find that out? And them, with the massive resources they have, are still putting out wrong information. So having said that, so Harry and Meghan, the main point of it all is that when Harry and Meghan left for Nigeria, according to what they said here, and this is them, allegedly this is them directly, that they went, before they went to Nigeria, they already knew that they were banned from absolutely doing anything in regards to with Archewell Foundation. They could not partner, solicit, raise, give. That Archewell thing is absolutely frozen along with the bank accounts until this is sorted out. Now, it is not only that they didn't send the check, it is also the records. Because you see, I'll give you an example. Meghan Markle, I believe in their accounts, they claim that they gave about 200,000, 150,000 or something like that to the World Kitchen. Remember that kitchen that Meghan Markle went there and she pretended to speak Spanish and she didn't? But the World Kitchen didn't show in their accounts any money received from Archewell Foundation. So there is a discrepancy there because it has to match. The money has to be somewhere. So Meghan, they received a bunch of money and they said that they gave this money, but some of the charities that they have claimed to have given that money, it's not reflected on the other charities accounts, the recipients of their donations. Okay, so where is that money? This is why they have to submit the records, because they're exempt from paying taxes. They're a public charity. They got the 501 status. And all the money that they make is raised through the public. This means that when Meghan partnered with Gianco, this is another charity in Nigeria, she knew full well she failed to disclose to this charity that they were not in good standing, that their organization was delinquent. Right? She failed to disclose this, and that is textbook fraud, because she knew she had to disclose that. She could not partner, they could not raise funds, they could not sign any documents because they knew that it was not in good standing. They know that they haven't handed the records, because had they handed the records a year later, 15 months later, the IRS would know if they have the records or not. Oh, it was a physical check. So how much of a fraud is that? Remember, their funds are frozen. I asked an accountant friend of mine in the United States to explain to me what that is. What does it mean when a public charity is delinquent? What are the ramifications for that? And he basically said that once you receive that notice, your accounts, the whole charity is on literally stopped. They can't take money out. They can't do any transactions with the charity money until that is sorted out. And this is not only the check. Because you see, how can Meghan Markle send a check to the IRS when the IRS does not have the records? And they need the records in order to figure out how much they're going to charge to renew the license of the charity. Because in order to this is very much the rules of that. It says that in order to renew that public charities, they pay a percentage based on how much they get a year, how much money they raise a year. They have to pay a percentage, or the license fee is calculated on how much they raise that year. So how would Meghan Markle know how much to pay the IRS if they haven't sent the records? Because the IRS needs the records in order to be able to calculate how much they're going to charge them to renew the license for the charity of the public charity of Archewell Foundation. Do you know what I'm getting at? So everything is a lie. So now I've shown you what they said. That they said that they knew before they left for Nigeria, and yet they failed to disclose this to Gianco, which is a crime. That is fraud. And now, this is the second story we get now, once they realize they're in trouble. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's like, we didn't know until this notice was made public. So how incompetent is this guy that went with them and the Archewell Fund, the CEO or the CFO, Chief Financial Officer? How incompetent this person is, because I am sure they received plenty of letters prior to getting this delinquency notice, because they must have gotten quite a few requests saying, please send the records because we need to calculate how much we're going to charge you to renew the license for the public charity. And they have failed to do it. So first, they said that they knew before they left for Nigeria and they sent the check. That is impossible because they haven't sent the records, and therefore the IRS has not calculated how much they're going to charge them to renew the license fee. This is disgusting, and I'm glad it could not have happened to worse people, because they are absolutely disgusting. But yeah, Gianco, I am calling you out. And I am shocked. I would be very surprised, because if you continue with these people, it's because as it stands right now, Meghan Markle has not submitted the records, the tax records necessary for the charity to be in good standing. And it's not just a matter of a little check. It is not a $220 fee, which is what most organizations pay, because the Archewell Foundation is a public charity, not a nonprofit organization. Okay? And therefore, in order to calculate how much it's going to cost them to renew their license, they have to submit the records to the IRS so they can figure out how much they're going to charge them for that license, for that renewal. That's how the cookie crumbles. And I can guarantee you that no matter how much Meghan is trying to downplay this thing, everybody is looking hard at that. And I'll tell you what happened as soon as this thing hit out, because Netflix has gotten involved. There has been an emergency meeting called, because don't forget that Netflix is producing, or they have one of the things that they have with Netflix is the Archewell Foundation, that they're doing Profitable Thing, and also Invictus Games, which is going to be hit with this scandal. Also, that American Riviera Orchard is in trouble, because one of them investors, there's two investors, after this thing hit the news, has pulled out. So, I mean, what do you think? Do you think that Meghan Markle knew before she went to Nigeria, that there was fraud, but she just chose to go ahead with it and I mean, scam people? Or do you think it's the second one, that she has put out another narrative? Oh, we didn't know until this was made delinquent. So where were you when you received that letter? Because that letter was received on May 3rd. And prior letters, there were a few letters sent to them prior to this delinquency letter. So are you telling me that the IRS is just going to suddenly send a delinquency letter to Meghan Markle? No, they sent them quite a few reminders, which they ignored.